Okay, so I've had these goggles for around 6 months now. These are the Fat Shark Recon HD goggles. These use a walk snail system, and I'm trying to essentially add two antenna adapters, basically SMA antenna adapters, just so that I can attach my own different like antennas. Currently I have two different antennas. One's omnidirectional and the other's triple beam, and I'm going to show you at the rest of throughout the rest of the video. I'm just going to do a voiceover because the original audio that was on here had a lot of like staticky noise. I don't know what was making that, but I have to essentially fix that. I'm just going to do a voiceover. But what I was just saying here is essentially that there's 4 antennas in the front of the goggles, and I'm going to disable the bottom 2 and use the top 2 for like as for normal use, and the ports that had the bottom 2, I'm going to replace them with the 2 antennas that I have. One's that omnidirectional I was talking about, and the other one is also a triple beam patch, which is a very high beam like directional. This one's just adding it because I really liked it and I really like its performance, and I'm going to see how it performs with these goggles. This is essentially a experimental, so I'm not sure if it's going to work very well, and I'm going to use these SMA to UFO connectors to like essentially make the entire thing work properly. But first I have to like start drilling holes, and yeah. Okay, so this part of the video is essentially me just explaining how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to there's velcro pieces on the front, so I'm going to remove those velcro pieces, and then you peel back the on the other side of the velcro piece, and behind it there's 4 screws, so basically 1 screw on each corner, and then that removes the white front facing bit, and then the second set of screws are in the middle of in the middle of the goggles, essentially the top bit, and that removes the fan adapter. And yeah, so this is just a demonstration. The voiceover is probably gonna end here, but yeah, this is how I did it. So at this point I was essentially removing the screws. So I was just explaining that each corner has 1 screw that holds the front plate, like I stated just before. This part I was just essentially peeling back each corner, and then would remove the screws, and you just do that like essentially 4 times, and then the front plate comes off. So as you can see, after you remove the screws, the front plastic plate does come off, and then it exposes the 4 directional antennas. They are numbered 1 to 4, and I think it's 4 and 2 that are in the middle, and those are the 2 antennas that connect to the bottom. Those are the 2 ports that connect to the bottom antennas, and those are the ones that I'm going to disconnect. So those 2 bottom antennas are connected to the middle 2 slots, and I'll remove those and replace them with the SMA connectors, and then I can put any antenna I like.
Okay, so there's a bolt here. I forgot to like mention. There's another bolt over here, and there's another bolt on the other side as well that holds this top piece. So essentially, you can pull this up, and then it can come out essentially. So now this is essentially loose, and you can like pull it out like that. So now the front is essentially out like that. Put that to the side. The top piece is gonna stay because there's a fan attached to it, so we don't want to yank that out. Alright, so these 2 essentially have been drilled up. I didn't drill it through completely through, because I've made up where I'm gonna do mine is because these thick bits really go pretty far. I'm essentially gonna bend this side, but to make sure that it still sits flush with the top side, I'm gonna just place it from the top, and that way I can glue this part down onto this bit of this piece. I can glue the top and the top of the plastic bit to the underside of this metal bit, and then fits flush like that, pointing up. Same way with this one, and then these UFO connectors essentially connect to the ports on here, and they replace the two antennas on the bottom. So technically I still have these two front antennas, so these ones are still going to be used, and these ones will basically just be used as supporting platforms for these ones right here. So if I want to completely like high beam directional, use this one's going to be placed on the left or wherever I place it, and this one right here is just going to be omnidirectional, because sometimes this does not have very good range when the drone or plane is behind you. So that's what I'm going to do for these two pieces, and then now I'm going to connect them and then put the entire thing back together after I like glue these two pieces. So yeah. Okay, so the top plates have the top plate is set, the antennas have been glued, and I'm using hot glue here, but obviously that's because I don't have any other option for what to seal it with. And if you guys have like any other method to like seal these in properly, or if you do want to go the extra mile and perfectly carve out a port for these antennas, you can do so, but so far this is working well. I've only done this because of the fact that like the stems, like I said, are very like long. But yeah, so now the antennas are set properly. I've glued them. I'm gonna clean this up after I close everything up, but now I'm just gonna connect these and then essentially close everything up. And yeah, next part is just essentially gonna be it fully connected, I guess.
So on this part, I was essentially finished with screwing everything back and assembling everything. So now at this point, the goggles themselves weren't showing any warning signs. Signal was still strong when I turned them on, and it didn't show like anything was disconnected. So I was fairly confident that the connections were good. And then at this point, I was then testing out all the antennas that I was gonna add. So this is the triple beam, and then I was gonna add a different antenna, but I realized that I bought a different one. So the connector was RPSMA, I think it was. So it was the wrong antenna with the connector, this one right here. So I'm not gonna use that one, but instead I'm just gonna order a different one, and hopefully that one works better.